Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Flynn and I am the owner and maker of Flynn Sisters Boutique. And today I'm going to show you how to create a leopard print pattern using my rhinestones in the color Smoke Topaz, Black, and Golden Shadow. We have all three of these scatter mixes available now on our website, and I'm going to show you the best way to utilize these. I didn't have time to put it on a tumbler, so we're going to show the pattern on a keychain. Super simple to do though. The process would be the same if we were doing this on a tumbler, but we're going to start by prepping our surface, of course. I've got just like a 120 grit sanding block here, and I'm going to clean it up with some rubbing alcohol after I've roughed up the surface. Then I'm going to take some UV resin. I got this from Resin Rockers. I will link it down below. It's definitely my favorite UV resin. And I'm going to mix it with some butterfly bush glitter from Meister Creations. It's perfect gold for this project, and you don't want to add too much, but you don't want to add too little. What we're doing here is we're establishing a beautiful glitter base for what will later be the background to our rhinestones on the other side. I'm going to spread that onto the prepped side of my acrylic blank. I will link where I got this acrylic blank in the description box. It's a 3-inch acrylic blank keychain. It was not a mold. Okay, I bought it like this. All right, and we're going to spread that glittery resin on just like we would frost a cookie. And I'm going to let that sit and level for a couple minutes and hit it with my torch to pop any bubbles. And then I'll put it under my UV light for approximately 2 minutes or until fully cured. Once our glitter side is cured, I'm going to rough up the opposite side of our acrylic blank with the same sanding block, just enough to take the gloss off, and clean it with some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel. And then we're gonna apply the leopard print, which will act as the template for our pattern today. I will link the SVG that I used for this pattern, and I just cropped it with a 3-inch circle shape in Cricut Design Space. Okay, so you'll just splice both the top layer and the bottom layer of this SVG. It's a 2-layer leopard print, trying to keep track of the orientation of the pattern after I cut it with my Cricut, so they'll line up nicely for me. I won't have to do a lot of guesswork. And we'll just layer one on top of the other with my transfer tape and apply it to our acrylic blank like we normally would for any other decal. Once those spots are on there, I'm going to trim around the edges if there was any kind of overhang with my craft knife. And then I'm going to take the gloss off this vinyl with a 120 grit sanding block, and I'm going to clean it up with some rubbing alcohol and paper towel. You don't want to sand that vinyl too hard, but just enough so that it's no longer shiny, so that our rhinestones and adhesive have something good to adhere to. Once we're done with the prep work, we're going to get our rhinestones put together. So I have these cute little heart-shaped flipper trays. You get these in a set of 3 flipper tray boxes on my website. I will link them down below. And I'm going to just pour all 3 of the scatter mixes into their own separate trays. The brown, the champagne, and the black, they don't come all as one mix. These are 3 separate scatter mixes on the website. You only need 1 pack of each if you're doing a project of this size. I would say if you were doing like a 20-ounce tumbler, you would want to have 1 to 2 packs of each size just to be on the safe side to make sure that you don't run out. I'm going to be using Bob Smith Industries 30-minute epoxy to apply our rhinestones today. So we're going to pour like a pea-size amount onto a Post-it note and mix it together for about 1 to 2 minutes. This is a 2-part epoxy adhesive. I'm using a doe foot applicator to mix it. I like these because they're disposable, no mess, easy to apply. I am going to apply that to around a 2-inch section on my keychain. This is about 1/3 that we're going to be working with at one time. I don't want to do the whole thing at one time because I will lose my working time on the epoxy before I complete this. And we're just going to start by bordering out the edge here, making sure that our stones don't overlap off the edge. So just kind of nudge them back if they go off the ledge there. I'm using my jewel picker. You can find these on my website as well. And we're just coloring in the pattern here. It's super simple. I did add some SS3s for the black just so I could really get into all that detail of the leopard print. This is a fuzzy leopard print design, so I wanted to get all of those little fuzzy print details that I could only do with the really teeny tiny stones, but it's not necessary if you don't want to add that much detail. I continued along the border of the section there and then started moving on into the body of our pattern, being careful not to nudge the border that we did. Normally, if I was doing like a tumbler or something, I would want to do the rim of the cup first and let that dry and then start to fill in the body with it. But with a project this small, I don't think that's really necessary because you can kind of see if you move anything too out of place. I found this particular pattern to be really forgiving and fun to do. It looks really tedious, and it is a little bit tedious, if I'm honest. This whole thing took me about 45 minutes, but I was really kind of taking my time and enjoying the process. I took plenty of breaks. You know, once I completed this section, I let it fully dry, kind of took a walk around, stretched out before moving on to the next section. In total, I did this project in 3 separate sections. When you're done with the first section and you've let it dry, to move on to the second section, you would just reapply a new batch of that 2-part epoxy adhesive like I had showed you, edging it up right against the previous completed section. We just continue on in that same kind of scatter pattern, filling in the colors as we go. And once I was done with the rhinestones, I decided that I wanted to put my monogram on the back. I should have done this before I started rhinestoning, but I forgot. I just made a monogram using a monogram generator. I've showed this in my videos before, but I'll link the one that I used down below. And I cut that out of regular permanent vinyl with my Cricut. If your monogram or decal goes over the little hole for the keychain, I just bore that out with my craft knife. And now I'm going to seal in my decal with UV resin. So you can see now why we would have wanted to do this before we rhinestone, in case we accidentally get some of that resin on the other side. But anyhow, I'm just going to add about a 1/4 size amount to the surface here, and we're going to spread that on with our stainless steel stir stick, spreading it out like the frosting of a cookie. And then once I get everything covered, I like to let it sit for a couple minutes to allow it to really level out nice and smooth. Then I'll hit it with my torch to pop any bubbles, and again under the UV light for a couple minutes until it's fully cured. Here is what we're left with. Absolutely beautiful. If we have any googly bits on the side, we're just going to scrape that off with our craft knife. Finally, we're ready to add our keychain hardware. I'm going to be adding this leather keychain tassel that I got from Platinum Moose Beads, but I'm going to remove the lobster clasp that it comes with. And I'm not going to use the jump ring that it comes with either. I'm going to use a thicker gauge jump ring that I got in a pack of different keychain hardware that I have. I just like these because they're a thicker gauge and they're a little more sturdy than what these come with. And I'm just going to attach that to the jump ring of the swivel clasp on my keychain. Remember that we want to tighten jump rings from side to side rather than, I don't know, horizontally. Okay, they're already pre-opened, so we just need to bring them together to close them. And then I'll add our beautiful blingy keychain with a larger jump ring. Because we added the rhinestones and this particular blank has a bigger space, I needed a bigger jump ring. And unfortunately, I didn't have one in gold, but whatever, we're just gonna make it work, okay? And again, opening our clasp from side to side, and then bringing those sides back together again in the same way we separated them to attach it. And that's it. So we don't need to seal our rhinestones or anything, okay? They're on there permanently with that great adhesive that we used. And I just absolutely love how this turned out. I think if you're just starting out with rhinestones and you want to experiment with scatter patterns and adding in the leopard spots. This is a fun place to start, not so intimidating as doing maybe a larger project like a tumbler. I don't know, let me know what you guys thought in the comments. If you liked my video, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. We upload new videos every week. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. And a big thank you to all of our Flynn Sisters exclusive members. Thank you for your pledge. Your support means the world to our channel. If you love this video, you could check out our last video here. Also be sure to find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course subscribe for all our new videos that come out every Wednesday and Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.